Emily froze, her hand still clinging to the edge of the doorframe. The words "under arrest" echoed in her ears, as if the walls themselves were closing in. Jessica rushed forward, her voice breaking as she cried out, "Where is my daughter? What have you done with her?" "Jessica." Emily's voice trembled with both anger and disbelief. "She's inside. She's safe, sleeping. You brought her to me yourself." "That's a lie," Jessica screamed, her finger stabbing through the air toward Emily, her tear-streaked face twisted with grief and fury. "You took her without my permission. Everyone here knows you've always envied my life, my marriage, my daughter. You did this out of spite." Officer Davis stepped between the two sisters. "Ma'am, please calm down," she said firmly, placing a hand out as if to shield Jessica. Brian's face was ashen, but his jaw was set hard. "Emily, why?" "Jessica has been frantic, calling us since Saturday, saying Sophia was gone. We thought she'd been abducted." His voice cracked at the word, but his eyes burned with accusation. Emily shook her head, her chest tightening like a vice. "That's not true. Jessica called me Friday night. She said Brian's mother was sick, that she needed me to watch Sophia. Why would I invent that?" Brian's fists clenched. "My mother is fine. She was playing bridge all weekend. Do you expect us to believe such a story?" Detective Sergeant Harris raised his hand to halt the shouting. "Enough. Mrs. Miller, do you have evidence of your claim?" Jessica, still trembling, dug into her purse with shaking fingers and pulled out her phone. "Yes, this. Look at this email." She handed it to the detective. On the glowing screen, a message was displayed, supposedly from Emily's account. "I'll take care of Sophia. Let me keep her with me for a while. Don't worry." Emily's eyes widened. "That's not from me. I never sent such an email." Her voice was raw, desperate, but the officers' faces remained carefully neutral. "That's not all," Jessica continued, her voice shaking but growing stronger with each word. "A neighbor saw her. Mrs. Parker, please tell them." An elderly woman, leaning on a cane, appeared at the top of the stairs. She pointed directly at Emily. "I saw her car parked outside the Miller house late Friday night, around 10 o'clock. She was sitting there, waiting." Emily's stomach turned cold. "That's impossible. I was home, working the whole evening." Jessica's sobs rose again. "And there's this." She pulled out another piece of evidence, a recording. From the phone speaker, Emily's voice echoed through the narrow stairwell. "Jessica, I'm taking Sophia. You don't deserve to be a mother." Gasps filled the hallway. Robert, their father, pressed a hand to his forehead, his face contorted in pain. Margaret clutched her husband's arm for support, tears brimming in her eyes. Emily's whole body shook. "No, that's not me. That's fabricated. It has to be. I would never say that." But the eyes around her were no longer soft, no longer sympathetic. They were filled with doubt, suspicion, and quiet condemnation. "Emily?" Margaret's voice broke as she stepped closer, tears streaking her cheeks. "Why would you do this? If you had concerns about Jessica's parenting, why not talk to us? To take Sophia like this?" "Mom, please," Emily cried out, her voice cracking under the weight of betrayal. "You know me. You know I wouldn't hurt Sophia. This isn't me, it's some kind of setup." "Emily, the evidence is clear," Robert said sternly, his voice laced with sorrow. "Stop denying it." Detective Harris reached into his pocket and produced a pair of handcuffs. "Emily Johnson, you are under arrest for the unlawful abduction of a minor." The metallic click of the cuffs made Emily's knees weaken. She wanted to scream, to beg them to listen, but her voice caught in her throat. And then, a small sound broke through the chaos. Stop. Everyone turned. Sophia stood in the doorway of the apartment, her pajamas rumpled, her small stuffed rabbit dangling from her hand. She rubbed her eyes sleepily, then blinked at the tense faces crowding the hallway. "Mama?" she whispered, her gaze flicking between Jessica and Emily. Jessica rushed forward, arms outstretched. "Sophia, my baby, come here." But Sophia didn't move. Instead, she took a step back and pressed herself against Emily's side, hiding behind her aunt's legs. Her little voice trembled. "Scary." Jessica froze, her arms still outstretched. "Sophia, it's Mama, come to me." Sophia shook her head, her eyes brimming with tears. "Everyone is lying. Aunt Emily didn't do anything. The room fell into stunned silence. Jessica's face drained of color. Sophia, sweetheart, you don't understand. That woman. That's not true. Sophia's voice rose, louder now, cutting through the adult's disbelief. Mama, I heard you. You did call Aunt Emily. You said, please take care of Sophia. I was on the stairs. I heard everything. The air froze. Jessica staggered back a step, her lips parting but no words emerging. Sophia's tears spilled over as she continued, her small voice unwavering. And Mama, you weren't going to the hospital. You put on new clothes and perfume. You went with Uncle Mark. The name hung in the air like a blade. Brian's face hardened. His voice was low. Dangerous. Jessica. Who is Mark? Jessica's hands shook. Her mouth opened and closed, but no answer came. Detective Harris' eyes narrowed as he turned from Sophia to Jessica. The balance of the room had shifted. Suspicion, once aimed squarely at Emily, now tilted sharply toward Jessica. Emily stood frozen, her cuffed wrists trembling, but in that moment, for the first time since the nightmare began, she saw a sliver of hope flicker. Jessica's scream rattled through the small apartment like glass shattering. Sophia, where is my daughter? She lunged forward, her arms stretched out as though to push past the officers and tear open every room. Ma'am, please calm down. Officer Davis stepped in firmly, one arm raised, stopping Jessica from barging in. Her professional tone barely masked the unease of the situation. Jessica's eyes flared. She jabbed her finger toward Emily like a weapon. You took her without permission. Why would you do such a thing? Answer me. Emily's throat felt dry, her voice trembling but steady enough to fight back. Jessica, what are you saying? You're the one who left her with me. You said Brian's mother was suddenly ill. You begged me to take Sophia. I never made such a call. Jessica's voice cracked, rising to a shriek. Stop lying. Brian stepped forward then, his face red with fury. Emily, why? Why would you do this? Jessica has been crying and contacting us since Saturday, saying Sophia was missing. When she returned from caring for my mother, our daughter was gone. Emily shook her head frantically. But Jessica told me your mother was sick. My mother is fine. Brian's voice thundered through the hallway. She was playing bridge with her friends yesterday afternoon. She never set foot in a hospital. The room went still for a moment, the only sound the faint ticking of Emily's wall clock. Detective Sergeant Harris lifted his hand, his commanding presence cutting through the chaos. Silence. Mrs. Miller, you said you have evidence? Jessica's hands trembled as she reached into her handbag. Slowly, deliberately, she pulled out her smartphone, as if presenting the final blow. Yes, this is the email Emily sent to me on Friday. The detective studied the glowing screen. The message was simple, chilling. I will take care of Sophia. Let me keep her with me for a while. Don't worry. Gasps escaped from Robert and Margaret. Emily's heart pounded against her ribs. That's not mine. Emily whispered, then louder, desperate. That's not mine. I never sent that email. This is some kind of trick. Jessica's face twisted, but she pressed on. And that's not all. A neighbor saw her. She was outside my house late Friday night. A shuffle came from the staircase. An elderly woman stepped forward, leaning heavily on a cane. It was Mrs. Parker, their parents' longtime neighbor. Her eyes narrowed as she pointed a wrinkled finger at Emily. I certainly saw her, Mrs. Parker said with quiet certainty. Around 10 o'clock Friday night, her car was parked in front of the Miller's house. She was sitting there, watching. Emily's knees weakened. No, that's impossible. I never left my apartment that night. I was working. Jessica's lips curved with grim triumph. There's more. She held up her phone again, her thumb tapping the screen. Listen to this. From the speaker came a voice, Emily's voice. Jessica, I'm taking Sophia. You don't deserve to be a mother. The words hung heavy in the stale air. No, Emily cried, her voice breaking. That's not me. It's been fabricated. You have to believe me. But the faces surrounding her shifted, their eyes narrowing, lips pressed tight, suspicion etched deep. Margaret's sob broke the silence. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she stumbled forward. Emily, why? Even if you disapproved of Jessica's choices, to do something like this, to drag Sophia into it, How could you? Mom. Emily's own tears welled as she pleaded. Please, believe me, this is all lies. I swear it. Robert stepped beside his wife, his face grave and unyielding. Emily, the evidence is overwhelming. Stop this now. Detective Harris pulled a pair of handcuffs from his belt. The metallic click rang out like a verdict. Emily Johnson, you are under arrest for the unlawful abduction of a minor. Emily's world tilted. Her breath came shallow and ragged. She opened her mouth to scream, but before the words could escape, a soft voice broke the tension. Stop. The crowd turned as one. Sophia stood in the hallway, barefoot in her pajamas, clutching her worn stuffed rabbit. Her wide eyes darted nervously from face to face. Confusion and fear etched across her small features. Sophia, Jessica cried, rushing forward. My baby, come to Mama. But Sophia didn't move. Instead, she clutched Emily's sleeve and pressed herself tightly against her aunt's side. Her voice trembled. Scary. Jessica froze mid-step, her arms outstretched. Sweetheart, it's Mama. Come here. Come to me. Sophia shook her head violently. No, everyone is lying. Aunt Emily didn't do anything wrong. Gasps rippled through the group. Jessica's face drained of color. Sophia, Jessica cried again, her voice laced with desperation. You don't understand, this woman kidnapped you. That's not true. Sophia's voice, though small, rang with conviction. Mama, you called Aunt Emily. I heard it. You said, please take care of Sophia. I was on the stairs. I heard you. Jessica's mouth opened, but no sound came. Her face had gone white, her hands trembling at her sides. You're tired. You're confused, she finally whispered. You don't know what you heard. But Sophia didn't stop. Her eyes filled with tears, her little voice growing stronger. And Mama, you didn't go to the hospital. You put on your new dress. You sprayed perfume. You looked pretty, like you were going on a date. Jessica flinched, her composure cracking. Sophia wiped at her eyes, then whispered the words that silenced everyone. You went with Uncle Mark. The air collapsed into stunned silence. Brian's fists clenched at his sides, his face turning ashen. Jessica, he said in a low, dangerous tone. Who is Mark? Jessica stumbled back a step, her lips parting, searching for an answer that wouldn't come. Detective Harris' sharp gaze locked on her, his hand, still holding the cuffs, slowly lowered. The direction of suspicion had shifted. And Emily, standing with Sophia clinging to her, felt the first fragile thread of hope in a nightmare that had nearly destroyed her.